Monday greetings, fellow traders. This is Austin. Of course, it's Monday, February 23rd. We're entering the final calendar week of trading in the month of February 2015. 2 months down, 10 more to go, and then the rest of our lives after that. Chart of crude oil and trade dome here. I'm going to do a live trading demonstration every day this week. We're going to compile results. I have personal reason for that. We'll discuss all of those things later. What's important is we're going to trade crude oil here, and I'm looking to book 40 or better ticks any way possible and done for the day. Okay, it is 9:02. The pit session just opened. We're going to get a open range reading here in a minute, and the 4880 zone would be a pending sell. I'm going to pre-stage a sell order at 4878 with an 8 tick stop. If it does, and, there could be slippage obviously somewhere. Crude oil is down over 200 ticks, about 220 ticks in the overnight. For whatever reason, commodities got crushed. I don't know why. I don't really care. It's not important. Moral of the story is there's a sell signal at the 4880 zone, a couple of them actually. So my first attempt for the day would be a sell on the 4878 if they break it again. I've specifically waited for a second break. I don't have anything to the long side yet. That would come in. I wouldn't take any longs until above this level here at the very earliest. So they got to come up at least above there before I would be looking on the long side. Sell only for now. That's what we have. It is 9:03. Okay, how about an update? It is now 9:14. Just 10 minutes have passed, and crude is doing what it commonly does, jack spiking around. The days of deliberate, methodical price action in any financial market, those days are over with for now. Everything is lower volume, illiquid. Everything is all computerized algo spikes and slams and explosions. So the game is wait for price to consolidate and then trade out of those consolidations, whether those are pullbacks or breakouts or both, and exit for profits as soon as you can, as soon as the profits are there, because at any moment in time, price can instantly reverse and come right back the opposite direction. Going in your favor, abrupt turn right back in your face. So all I'm doing is watch and wait for the key sequences to come along and trade them. I have no bias of direction. How can you, when, especially with crude oil, when it changes directions several times a day, and oftentimes more than that in an hour? So it'll change directions inside of an hour. So you really can't have a directional bias for any period of time. You have to measure the trend for the moment and trade that trend accordingly. So at this moment in time, I don't have anything to work with. If I were going to be on the long side, it would be well above here. It's nothing really. There are no longs at this moment. So I'm just waiting for the next sequence to come along. By the same token, the sell side would remain 40, 50 ticks below here. We're in the middle of no man's land. So sit, watch, and wait. 9:16. Okay, it is 9:21. I'm looking at the 49.35 zone to the long side. So if they take it up there, then I'm going to look to enter a position. I'm not going to pre-stage one. I'm looking for the trade through that level and then go from there. So here we are. 49.35 long side is the next pending order. Remains to be seen. Could be seconds from now or hours from now or not at all. 9:22. All right, it is 9:25. Crude oil is waiting for the open of stocks before it makes any definitive move. Meanwhile, I've seen enough to confirm that the 49.30 plus area is a confirmed buy, and so I'm looking to fill 49.38 or thereabouts, and go from there. Usual -8 tick initial stop, and we'll see what happens. The first visible magnet above is 49.85 up there at the Coil Markets Roadmap 233 zone above. So that would be my long trade attempt for now. Nothing on the sell side at this time. It is 9:26. Okay, we have the pullback long at 49.25 par stop, and now we're looking at the breakout long potential, and I would be managing that would be an initial 8-tick stop, and then we'll manage accordingly. If they move in favor, we'll blend those stops, and if not, so be it. Going to blend there. Okay, so there is no risk. It is a 2-contract position. If they come back, then they're gonna. If they pull it back, and they could, then they're gonna be chopping the action zone. And if they continue in favor, then it's in favor. So not much more I can say than that. Looking for that 49.80 zone is the first potential up, like we discussed. That is, this here is a 90% probability to be touched sometime today from somewhere. And the same is true for the lower one. Now that doesn't mean they're going to go straight to it. That just means that at some point today, either this side or the other side below, or both, are probable to be hit. So that's what that tells us. I'm going to make this a plus 2-tick stop in case. That's just in case they slip and come back. Then I'm going to be out for scratch or slightly better. They should not come back to the 49.34 zone if this is going to go up measurably from here. No telling. So sit, watch, and wait. It is 9:30 Eastern. Time to work with the S&P as well. And as it commonly does, the S&P is chop spiking around. It came down and took out the stop position there for basically minimal results. And I look for the next sequence. So I am off the long side for now. They could, if they hold this general zone here, they could jack spike their way back up. And then if they come down through about the 49.20 zone, would be a sell. So I'm off the long side for now until I see what I'm looking for there. And I would be a seller around 49.20 if that materializes. It is 9:33. Update, it is 9:39. And after taking out my blended stop at the exact low tick, price is now trying to jack spike its way higher. It's doing the choppy up thing. Big downtrend overnight. I mean, they could easily come up here, and this would just be a pullback within the trend. Wouldn't mean it, it would just be trading noise basically. But I'm idle for now. I'm looking on the sell side, 49.20 zone. Not really looking on the buy side from here. I don't want to be a buyer near relative swing highs. So sit, watch, and wait mode. 9:40. All right, now from here, I'm going to be on the buy side. Don't really see the buy side for now. For now, it's sell side only around the 49.20 zone. They pulled back deeper than they pulled back deep enough to negate any buy signals from here that I'm interested in. They could go up, but it would be just abrupt, spiky stuff. So anyway, I'm on the sell side until further notice, 49.20. Although if they take it back up above the 35 zone there, then they could keep going higher. But hey, that's crude. It could go anywhere at any moment. 9:45. Okay, we trigger the 49.18 sell, and price is just kind of whipping around. Hopefully it whips lower in favor. I'll switch to a 1-minute chart here just for clarity of view. I eliminated the dome from view here because this same account here is chronicling crude and the S&P in the team room. So the math there would be skewed. The math is not crude oil specific. We'll get to that another time. So anyway, here are the actual executions, and that's what's going on. For now, it's working off the sell side that we We target it ahead of time, and we'll see what happens. The cumulative sum is plus 10 ticks from the early move here, and I have a minus 8 tick stop for the moment. I'm about to move that. With price back here at the open range, this is a potential snapback zone, so I'm going to adjust that stop to plus 1 tick, and if it's taken out, we'll go from there. You know, trading in these algo driven markets, really you have to have a mentality of trade not to lose. You know, you take your entry, you get filled, and you adjust your stop so that any of the chop noise doesn't just eat you alive, because 5 tiny chop trades is one, you know, moderate loss. So if you just keep the equity curve as close to zero as you can intraday until you catch that one move that moves an acceptable distance, and then you're prepared to cash in on that, and that's intraday trading in the modern, highly illiquid, constant V-turn world. So here we are. Price is, of course, reacting from the top of the open range like it always does. Very powerful magnets. We'll see what happens. 956. Okay then, and as often happens when you're trying to short above the top of the open range, that doesn't work. So chop there, plus 1 tick. Wait and see what happens from here. Price did what it always does in this computerized algo-driven world. When they hit the open range zones, they react accordingly. Now, there is no predictable edge to trade around the open ranges, but there are definable edges to manage trade positions in accordance. And so that's what I did. I expected they would snap back, and they did, and we'll see what happens. So might get short again in this general zone. Might be on the long side, somewhere above the 49.30 zone, or remains to be seen. 958. All right, I was on the sell side, and that blew out in the news here, and now I'm on the long side, and I'm going to take that risk back to zero. So basically, I'm around scratch for the day, give or take a tick or two. We'll figure that out later, and they're trying to jack spike their way up. So possibly from here headed to that aforementioned magnet, the 49.80 or 49.90 zone up at the CM Roadmap 233 zone. And if not, if they come back, then this would be my last attempt on the buy side, and I'd be looking for the sell side, because they've already, if indeed they don't go up from here, they've failed to go up enough time so that I'm no longer interested in longs from this area. So in other words, they're either going up from here successfully, or I'm looking to the sell side next, whichever comes first. I'm hoping they go up, but I'm preparing for whatever. 10:02. Okay, they are doing the jack spike thing. Not unusual. Welcome to crude oil. I'm going to the fill is 49.35. I'm going to take the stop to 46, and I'm going to hold for that 42.80 zone there. I'm looking for 40-50 ticks here. Moral of the story, like every trade. And there we are. If they come all the way back, then what are you going to do? They come all the way back. So sit, watch, and wait for execution. 10:06. Okay, well, we got whip spiked out of that. S&P is just doing a 2-point dead chop zone, and crude oil is doing the whip spike thing. I don't know where I'm at here. I think it's like plus 10 ticks, give or take a couple ticks. And but you can't really make anything happen. This trade here went around 30 ticks in favor, and then right back in my face. So you know, like I said, the way to trade highly illiquid chop markets and whip spike markets, circa 2014 and 15, is managing your equity curve, managing your account. The only way to do that is to you know, keep yourself as close to zero or net positive as you can on each trade sequence waiting for the one that will, move far enough, or quite frankly, if you catch two pieces, something like that. Had this particular trade gone 40 ticks or better thereabouts in favor, I'd have trailed to 20, 25 with the mentality there, hey, if you take this one out, I'll then give me the 20, 25 ticks, and we'll see if we can catch one that bigger or bigger, on the next turn. But here's what they're doing. They're just kind of after a straight trend overnight of 220 ticks down. Now they're just doing a bunch of V turns going nowhere. So I don't have any current trade plans except for I'm on the sell side only. They've already failed to go up in measurable fashion twice, and we're in a downtrend. So I don't want to keep pressing the upside, that's getting hammered when it's in a 220 tick downtrend so far. So I'm on the sell side now, more or less plus 10 ticks, and I'm looking for 40 more ticks from the next sequence, and then I would call it a successful day. So we'll see what happens. It is 10:12. Okay, we're on the sell side now from the 49.30 zone, which was pivotal. It's been pivotal all day or all morning, and this could be the break lower. They have to crack 49.20. If they get to 49.18 or whatever, then we should be good to go lower, and if not, then not. Got an 8-tick stop here, so worst case scenario, I'd be dinged for par for all of my efforts on several turns and waiting for the real move to happen. So one of two things: they're going to come up, take this out, and I'm more or less treading water for now, or they're going to work far enough in favor that it's going to be a successful morning. One of the two. 10:17. Okay, they are hanging out just below right at the action zone, that 49.20. I have a scratch stop on the 49.30 position here, and if that's taken out, then I'd be looking sell side 49.18 thereabouts, and if it works, then I have nothing more to concern myself with except where to get out successfully. So those are my two trains of thought. If I get taken out at scratch, that's fine. Then I would look to reestablish around 49.20, 49.18. If they break from here instead of chopping back, then party on. 10:20 Eastern. And the result is out at the plus 1 tick, and so now I'm going to be looking 49 below 49.20 for a short, because we can see they're chopping the zone. They haven't broken yet. Staying alive, protecting my curve and waiting to catch one move to go somewhere. For all we know, they're going to go right back up to 49.50 or higher from here. So they didn't continue lower. I want out, and we'll try it again. 10:21. Okay, then the pre-staged 49.18 sell was hit for 49.17 at a minus 8 tick stop, roughly 10 ticks more or less to the good. So they're right back to the top of the open range, just doing the V-turn chop spike thing. If they continue lower, that's great. That's what we're looking for. If they don't, then it's a scratch morning so far. You can see from this mess here that nothing's gone on. Basically, it's just one big ascending megaphone wedge chop zone thing in the making. That would be. So it is what it is. Managing the sell side now. They are below the 25 percentile line of the pit session range. The overnight range. They are holding support, if you will, at the top of the 5-minute open range of the pit session, and there we go. Actually, that is not the top. That is not the pit session. Let me see. I must have. Did I draw this wrong? Let me redraw that. Let me see. There is 9 o'clock. There is 9:05. There's it doesn't matter. It's the same top, and they just keep chop banging that. So there we are. This is going to result in a basically scratch for the morning so far. It's going to result in something favorable to the downside. Out of my control now. All I can do is sit, watch, and wait. 1029 and hope. 1029. And drum roll, please. The stop gets whipped out because we are trendless and directionless and more or less scratch for the day. It is 10:30. I've been at it for an hour and a half here in the pit session, and I've taken this many turns, and I am at roughly zero, give or take a tick or two, which would be according to slippage. So that's what we have. Now the next and final trade I would take this morning is going to be to the long side, and it's going to be, might be coming up here around 49.35 area. And if that fulfills, there it is, right? 8-tick stop. If this works to the upside, now that the downside has failed again, then that's going to be the day. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to get off this sequence here and wait for price to make a move higher or lower, because all it's doing is basically been in a chop zone right here. This is the whole day so far. If they can work their way out of that zone now, I'm in good shape, and if they can't, I'm chopped and I'm idle, and then we'll see what happens later on in the session away from this obvious dead zone. So there we have it. 1031. Par stop on that 49.35 long because they're just whip chopping. Par stop taken out because they're just whip chopping, and I'm at officially nothing for the morning on a bazillion turns. But you can see the market has gone a bazillion directions nowhere. So it is 10:32. I'm going to sit, watch, and wait. I'm going to let price get out of this general mess area here and go somewhere meaningful. You see, it's made a big move, and the upside is just getting sold into, but they don't want to, the downside, they're buying every dip, so nothing's happening. We're in the throes of directionless chop, and I'm just going to sit, watch, and wait. 10:32. Okay, it is 10:44, and I'll give an update. I'm on the sell side below 49.05, or I'm done until the afternoon. Take a look at the markets again around 1 o'clock, if not filled. So I'm going to be targeting the 49.05, below there, below 49.05 on the sell side, or on the buy side, remains to be seen. So we have 10:44. Okay, engaged from 49.03 with a stop at around 49.18. I'm currently at plus 5 ticks from all of the plus 1 tick stuff, and if taken out here at minus 15 ticks, then I'm going to be at minus 10 for the morning, and I'm just going to kick it to the curb until 1 in the afternoon. So if they bounce from the top of the open range for the umpteenth time, so be it. And I'm just going to move to the sidelines at roughly minus 10 ticks, and there it is, and see what happens in the afternoon stretch. So it's 10:47. I'm at minus 10 ticks on a ton of trades. The market is just dead chopping after the big trend overnight. Nothing you can do with it, so you throw your hands up and you walk away. Let's see what it does in the afternoon stretch. See it. Okay, traders, we're back. It is 12:53 Eastern, just about 1 o'clock. I am at minus 10 ticks exactly, following a bazillion turns, or at least it seemed like, and price has done nothing but bang from the open range multiple times, as you can see, up to the Coil Markets Roadmap 233 zone. Generally speaking, this is a nothing session. There's absolutely nothing here to work with. I've seen this before. Maybe you've seen this before if you've spent time with crude oil. A lot of times there are things going on fundamentally, such as rollover or expiry of the Brent contract, not the WTI West Texas that we trade. It could be some kind of options expiry on crude oil. It could be that they're just waiting ahead of tomorrow's Janet Yellen testimony in front of Congress, the start of a 2 day. It could be any number of things. Maybe there's something pending in Europe that I'm not privy to right at this minute. Regardless, I don't know exactly why. All right, and it doesn't matter exactly why. I know what. And what I see is an absolutely dead session where there's no volume, no life, no energy, no anything. So I have choices, just like I had a choice on the last trade I attempted that resulted in minus 10 ticks cumulative. I could have stopped before at 0, and I could stop right now at minus 10. Whatever, or I could keep trading until I'm down 100 ticks today. Those are all personal choices. The way I'm going to handle it is this: I'm going to take one more sell attempt around the 49.05 area. They've bumped the top of the open range numerous times, and they're just sitting here. I'm not gonna buy this market. I'm not gonna try the long side. They failed the long side on several thrusts. You could say 4. And the trend is generally down. So if they crack, I'm going to try to take them lower, and my objective is going to be get to 0 or better as soon as possible, and then after that, hold for potential gains. If I don't see that, if they don't crack down to below the 49.05 area and give me a delivered entry, then I'm done for the day. Minus 10 ticks. So it goes. So see what happens. 12:55. Okay, here we go. In the final position today, short on a confirmed sell in the 49.18 area. 8-tick stop. It either works or it chops out. It's out of my control. Worst case scenario, as I discussed, based on personal choices, is going to be something around minus 20 ticks, and after that I've lost interest in today. Best case scenario is going to be 0 ticks or better, so I won't be moving the stop here until there's at least the potential to lock in more than 10 ticks. And the way things are going here, it's going to be out in a nanosecond anyway. So let me flip to a 1-minute chart view. I think today the E-minis, the S&P is trading about a 6-point range, is just totally dead, completely dead. I think crude oil has the award for the ugliest chart, but nothing has been tradable. Everything is just dead whipped. I don't know why. So leave this running for a minute here. It's threatening the stop. Oh, by the way, it's 1:21 Eastern. Getting towards that time where they start making spike and surge moves. Out. All right. That's it. Minus 20 ticks for the day on a bunch of turns. And as I said, the market's gone absolutely nowhere. I don't care to trade it any further. I didn't even care to trade it that far. I just did because, it gave yet another breakdown signal and it failed to go up. So that's a wrap for today. We'll see what's shaking tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Have a great one.